In a civilized society of anthropomorphic animals, a tense relationship exists between carnivores and herbivores. Their mutual distrust peaks after a predation incident that results in the death of an alpaca named Tem. The incident at the school causes a further divide between the herbivores and carnivores, increasing the tension between the two factions. The tension affects the drama club, in which Tem was a part of. Nonetheless, now that he's dead, they need to find a replacement for his role in an upcoming play. Meanwhile, a goat named Els has been wary of a wolf in her class, thinking that he might slay her next. She then comes face to face with the wolf, who happens to be the MC named Legoshi. It turns out he doesn't mean any harm because he was just friends with Tem and knew that Tem had liked Els. In memory of his fallen homie, he passes along a love letter from Tem that he was planning to give to Els. She apologized for being so scared when he had approached her, thinking that he was gonna eat her plot. This kind of prejudice is common to Legoshi, and he told her that he's either hated or feared by everybody. The next day, when a deer named Louis and Legoshi pay their respects to Tem, it is revealed that Louis is the lead actor in the upcoming play. He tells Legoshi that he has a new task for them, so they attend a meeting. Meanwhile, a rabbit named Haru gets bullied by her classmates, who throw her mattress out of their dorm. Apparently, she has a negative reputation at the school because so many guys like her, and she's forced to eat alone. While eating, a mean bunny named Mizuchi has a bone to pick with Haru because her boyfriend had kissed her. Haru tries standing up for herself, telling her that it was not her fault, but that doesn't stop Mizuchi from harassing her. Back to Louis, who tells Legoshi that he needs him to fit a new costume for Tem's replacement, and yet a mongoose named Kai bursts in on their conversation, telling them that he should be the replacement. Louis then informs him that he's gonna be removed from the actor team, which almost results in a fight. Luckily, Legoshi is there to neutralize the tension between the two and prevent things from escalating. He is then tasked to help them keep watch later at night, while they sneak into the theater and practice their lines. While he's on lookout, he picks up the scent of Haru, and his predatory instincts take over his body. Legoshi seems to be fighting with some sort of internal struggle against his male instinct, telling him to devour her tiny plot. He nearly succumbs to the instincts, but then the goat named Zoe, who is Tem's replacement, snaps him out of it while calling him. Haru takes off running before Legoshi can say anything, and then he's brought inside, where he finds that Louis had injured his leg while trying to save Zoe from falling. The next day, two guys get in a fight in the cafeteria, which triggers Legoshi's predatory instincts once again. He butts in at their escalating quarrel, causing one of them to start picking a fight with him. Luckily, Louis steps in to stop the fight. Moments later, it is revealed that Louis is a strong candidate to be the next Beastar. This is the title bestowed upon the school's hero that unites all the students above their fear and discrimination. Louis is trying his best to keep the play on track, but his injury is getting worse. Meanwhile, Legoshi is sent to pick up some flowers for the play, where he runs into Haru. He had accidentally injured her last time, but when he asked her about it, Haru told him that she couldn't remember what happened. He then helps her out, moving some stuff around. However, when she told him that she wanted to repay him, Legoshi didn't know how to respond because he just wanted to keep talking to her. She kind of misinterprets the silence for something else and tells him that he's flustered. Considering he is a guy, Haru thinks that he probably wants to have plot development with her. That said, she removed her plot armor and offered to sleep with him as payment for his help. When Haru starts trying to remove his plot armor, Legoshi reminds himself that he is a man of culture and leaves. That situation made him realize the truth behind Haru's bad reputation. But despite that, he still thinks that she's a good person, or a good animal, or whatever. Later on, while talking to Kai, Legoshi learns that everybody in the drama club has some sort of odd history, piquing his curiosity as to what Louis' past was like. Louis' injury is definitely getting worse right before Legoshi comes to talk to him about some of the lighting for the show. Louis seems to be bothered that Legoshi is trying so hard to appear harmless, even though he clearly is strong. He somewhat feels insulted that he is trying to hide how much power he has because, as a deer, he has no such power. This causes some reflection on Legoshi, and he realizes that he's not just a monster because he's actually developing feelings for Haru. We come to the first night of the play, where Louis puts on a brave face despite his injury. He fights through the pain and manages to put on a great show for everybody. However, at the finale, when the final curtain closes, Louis collapses. The curtain had shut before Louis collapsed, so the crowd was unaware of his injury. After being examined, they found that Louis had broke his leg, so they can't do the second show tomorrow. Louis then decides to make the tiger named Bill his replacement in the second performance. They need someone to fill in for Bill's role, so Legoshi is given the minor role as a villain. The next day, just before the show starts, Legoshi sniffs out something on Bill. When they are alone, Bill confesses to taking some rabbit blood before the play as some sort of performance enhancer. This pisses Legoshi off and they almost get into a fight. As the performance goes on, things are not as good as when Louis was the main character, but they're doing just fine. When it's time for Legoshi's scene, he breaks character and attacks Bill, pinning him down and punching him. Bill retaliates by clawing at Legoshi's back, where the audience couldn't see. This cues Louis to step in and break the two up, making it seem like all of it was a part of the show. The two of them are reprimanded for what happened on stage, and for Bill taking the rabbit's blood. However, they maintain the image that everything in the play was planned out so nobody got in trouble. Moments later, Legoshi's friend, the dog named Jack, picked up on the fact that he wasn't acting and was really fighting Bill. He also picked up on him possibly being in love, which prompts a weird reaction from Legoshi, confirming his suspicions. Meanwhile, Haru seems to be developing plot with Louis. 1 month later, the set crew is preparing for the Meteor Festival. They discuss that on the final day of the festival, there's a lighting ceremony where couples who put a candle in the meteor will live happily ever after. Meanwhile, Haru is still being targeted by the toxic bitch, Mizuchi, and her friends. Legoshi inadvertently stops the bullying, and the two of them go out to eat dinner together afterwards. Legoshi is struggling to ask her name while Haru is struggling with her instincts, telling her to stay away from him. While heading back to the dorms, they make actual eye contact for the first time. And it's a nice moment or whatever that leads to Haru telling Legoshi her name. Another herbivore that was killed is on the news, putting even more tension among the students. While walking through the halls, Legoshi comes across a wolf named Juno, who's getting bullied by some guys because she's a carnivore. He steps in to help her and learns that she has just joined the drama club. Soon after, Legoshi went to the club where they were sent to discuss the details of the festival in the city. Before they go, Louis warns them to stay away from the black market. Legoshi, Bill, and two new characters, the Black Panther named Tao and the Bald Eagle named Ayaba. They arrive at the city, and they attend their meeting at City Hall afterwards. The boys are talking about plot development, and they pressured Legoshi to talk to Juno since she had just joined the drama club. On the way back, they get lost and come across an old goat selling his fingers for them to eat. It turns out that they had accidentally wandered into the black market. The black market is the place where carnivores go to get animal blood and meat. Bill wants to indulge a bit and eat one of the old goat's fingers, telling them that places like this keep the society to run smoothly. Legoshi doesn't want to take part in this, so he runs off. While he's running, he thinks back on talking with Haru because he feels attracted to her, but at the back of his mind, he can't stop his predatory urges telling him to devour her. This leads to him collapsing, and when he wakes up, he's chained. He was taken in by a giant panda doctor at the black market named Gohan. He explains that what happened to him could be a result of his romantic feelings for Haru or a manifestation of his desire to eat her. His mind might be confusing his predatory urges as love as a coping mechanism to justify his desire for her. Gohan does what any sensible homie would do, gave him some seductive bunny magazine. He speculates that this could be some sort of desire, but if this doesn't get him climax, then it's likely the attraction that he feels towards Haru isn't romantic at all. He takes the bunny magazine and leaves. Moments later, he runs into Ayaba, who decided not to eat finger and went out of the black market. The following day, a chicken named Legum sits beside Legoshi. It turns out that she is the one making the egg salad sandwiches that Legoshi enjoys eating. This is her part-time job and she prides herself on having the best eggs. Elsewhere, Haru is developing plot with Louis again, prompting a flashback of how the two met. Back then, Haru had came across Louis after his horns were knocked off. He informs her that he plans on getting fake horns, so Haru tends to his injuries in the meantime. After that, the two started doing some plot development. However, Louis told her that it's his duty to continue his lineage, and that his family had already arranged a wife for him. Apparently, despite knowing the truth, Haru seems okay with it. After clapping some rabbit cheeks, Louis was on his way out and he ran into Legoshi, who came looking for Haru. Louis told him that Haru isn't there and makes up a story saying that they were just friends. He also encouraged Legoshi to go talk to Juno, which the two ended up doing. Later on, they wind up practicing their choreography together, where Juno comes to the realization that she has feelings for him. When she asks if he feels it too, Legoshi implies that he is not into her. The next day, Jack had came across his rabbit magazine, forcing Legoshi to explain his confusion about his feelings towards Haru. Later on, while working on festival, Haru approaches him asking for his help since she's the only one in the garden club. He refuses, thinking that for now it would be best to maintain a safe distance from her. However, while working, Legoshi sees Louis interacting with Haru in the distance, making him realize that there's something going on between the two of them. His jealousy confirms to him that she is not just some prey, but he is actually in love with her. Haru and Legoshi end up being some of the last students to leave the festival grounds, so they head back together. When the two of them tried to talk about how Haru tried to seduce him when they first met, they end up getting into an argument. Haru tells him that he can't understand how she feels and why she came onto him that day. When she tries to leave, he goes to stop her, but it causes a misconception that he is harassing her. The two end up having to make a run for it and avoid being arrested. Afterwards, they calm down and Haru admits to lying about not remembering the night when she was attacked. Although she still doesn't know it was him, he thinks of admitting it was him, but he ends up deciding not to do so, fearing that if she will know that it was him, then she might stop talking to him. After everybody had left, Louis agreed to help Juno to rehearse a bit, but she seemed to be up to something. Suddenly, she pins Louis down and declares her intention to become the next Beastar and have Legoshi as her boyfriend. Nothing really comes from that though, and Juno continues trying to make her moves on Legoshi. Shortly after, there's a sudden blackout and everybody is forced to stay together. Legoshi realizes that Haru could be off by herself, so he goes looking for her, following her scent. When he finds her, Haru mistakes him for Louis and hugs him. Just as the lights are coming on, Legoshi ignores the mistaken identity and talks to her. Juno sees this and finally understands that Legoshi might have a thing for Haru. The next day, Louis recalls his dark past that he keeps hidden. When he was younger, he was held captive to be carnivores' food on the black market. After trying to protect one of his friends from being eliminated, a deer named Ogma, who was also the head of the Horns conglomerate, decided to adopt him. He imprinted on Louis the goal to change the world, which Louis didn't take so lightly and explains why he's so influential at school. Back to the present, Louis is nearly attacked by a carnivore. Luckily, Legoshi successfully manages to prevent the attack without Louis even knowing about it. When he talks to the carnivore, he learns that it's likely that Louis will become the next Beastar. With an herbivore as the Beastar, the carnivores fear that they might lose some of their influence. This has led to a handful of them deciding that they want to eliminate Louis. That said, Legoshi takes on the new goal of keeping Louis alive and watching his back. Afterwards, he sets up a meeting with Haru and he confesses his feelings for her at the festival. While alone thinking things over, Haru is abducted. Some of the students had come across her shoe when the news of the kidnapping ends up reaching Legoshi. The culprits are revealed to be working with the Shishigumi, a gang of lions who had kidnapped Haru to feed her to their boss. Apparently, Haru is some sort of delicacy, so the boss forces her to remove her plot armor and bathe in preparation for to be his meal. Louis is informed of the situation by the mayor, but the mayor doesn't plan on doing anything about it, telling him that she's a goner, and that he wants to keep things on track with the festival. He even bribes Louis, telling him that if he goes on like nothing is wrong, then he'll delete the records of his dark past in the black market. Legoshi then comes looking for Louis to help him get her back, but when he reluctantly refuses, things escalate until the two of them get into a fight. Legoshi goes on by himself to look for her in the black market, and he ends up getting attacked by some thugs, but is later saved by Gohan. After explaining the situation, Gohan doesn't want to help him. Nonetheless, Legoshi still manages to find the lion's hideout. He gets into a fight with one of the lion henchmen and is nearly gotten eliminated. Luckily, Gohan steps in and saves him with his crossbow. Fight sequence ensues where the two of them fight through all of the lions to get to Haru. Meanwhile, Haru is reflecting back on her life thinking that she's about to be devoured. It turns out that she had always been seen as a small helpless animal that would die first if anything went wrong. The only time that she felt like she was being treated like herself and not somebody to be pitied is when she developed plot with a guy. This set her down her plot-loving path because it was the only way how she could escape the feeling of being a helpless animal that was just there to be pitied. While reflecting on all of this, she realizes that the only one who didn't make her feel that way was Legoshi. Just when she's about to be devoured, Legoshi bursts in to save her from her despair. Legoshi fights with the boss, and for the first time, he embraces his dark side, which leads to him mauling the menace. After the fight was done, Legoshi purposely didn't eliminate the boss because he didn't want to be a murderer. However, it almost gets him eliminated because the boss nearly shoots him as they're leaving. Luckily, Louis is there to save the day, preventing the shot, and proceeds to shoot and eliminate the boss for what he had done. After all the drama, Haru and Legoshi go out to get some food, so they end up missing the last train. That said, they have to go and find a hotel to stay at for the night. The two then wind up in a love hotel, And while there, Legoshi finally comes clean about being the predator that had attacked her when they first met. Haru explains to him that she had a hunch that it was him and was pretty wary of him, but since she enjoyed spending time with him, she just kept it to herself. Things start to go into the direction of plot development, but Legoshi put to an end to. Haru's instincts prevents her from sleeping with him, but on the other hand, her body seems moving on its own, like she wants to be devoured by him. She offered to try ignoring game but ended up sleeping with him anyway. He probably feels like they are doing plot development, so he tells her that he's not into it. Nothing ends up happening, and the two head back to school, where a new rivalry has ignited between Haru and Juno. Later on, while everybody is preparing for the festival, Legoshi learns that Louis is missing and nobody has heard from him. Nonetheless, the show must go on, so the drama club does their performance, and Legoshi meets with Haru to officially confess his love for her. Unfortunately, it gets interrupted when he's pulled onto stage to be acknowledged for saving Haru. After that, Juno tries convincing him to light a candle in the meteor with her, but he is not interested with that shit, and goes to find Haru instead. The two of them talk about their fear of their instincts, which leads Legoshi to tell her that he needs to get stronger so that he won't succumb to it. She then tells him that she will be waiting for that day to come. We then get a quick shot of Louis, who's in the paper and is still missing. Meanwhile, an unseen character that seems to be friends with Legoshi is giving off some creepy vibes by smiling for no reason.